Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about taking big, powerful ideas and boiling them down into something you can actually use. Let's get into it. So let's just jump right in. What if I told you that you're fighting a global economic war, and you don't even know it exists? That's the core idea we're unpacking today. It's a pretty radical financial battle plan, especially for people in emerging nations, on how to not just survive this system, but actually turn the tables and win.
All right, so according to the source material, this war is being fought on two main fronts. You've got this huge global system of exploitation on one side, and on the other, well, that one's a lot closer to home. It's all the everyday financial traps that are set for you and me. So, this core idea is called capital plunder, and you can think of it like a quiet modern version of colonialism. It's the system where wealth and resources are just constantly flowing from emerging economies over to developed ones. And what that does is it creates this vicious cycle of what they call involution, where you're working harder and harder, but for less and less reward. Sound familiar? And this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is so stark. On one side of the world, you've got people with safety nets, with the real freedom to choose their own path. But on the other side, it's a completely different reality. It's a reality where just surviving means you have to work endlessly, all because the rewards of your hard work are being systematically pulled away. And this right here, this is that second front we were talking about. This is the immediate danger. These are the everyday financial traps. We're talking about everything from these new AI-powered impersonator scams to bad advice from so-called financial advisors. And then you have these super complex products like certain insurance policies or trusts. The source argues they're all designed with one goal in mind: to confuse you and slowly drain your wealth. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do you fight back? Well, the source material proposes a kind of counteroffensive. And the big idea is you can't really change this massive system from the outside. So what do? You have to change your position inside of it.
And here's the central idea. The fight isn't political, it's financial. The only way out, it argues, is through a capitalist awakening. And that means a complete radical shift in how you think. You have to stop seeing yourself as just a worker in the system and start seeing yourself as an owner of the system.
And this quote, wow, it really just captures the sheer audacity of this way of thinking. My dream is to buy the entire United States. We become the masters, and they work for us. It's all about flipping the script entirely. Instead of being the victim of this capital plunder, the goal is to own the very engine that drives it, so that engine starts working for you. So how do you actually do this? Well, the path is broken down into 4 pretty clear steps. First, you have to acknowledge the system for what it is. See the reality of capital plunder. Second, you've got to reject victimhood. Stop being a pawn in their game. Step 3 is the big one, the action step. You buy the engine. You invest in the Nasdaq-100. And then finally, step 4, you become the master. You transform from a laborer into a capital owner. Okay, so what are the actual rules of engagement here? What's the battle plan? You'd probably expect something really complicated, right? A bunch of charts and analysis. But according to this source, the most powerful strategy is actually radically simple. The entire battle plan, the whole thing, boils down to this one mantra. It translates to buy whenever you have money and never, ever sell. And look, this isn't just some catchy phrase. It's a discipline. It's about completely rejecting the idea of timing the market, rejecting complexity, and most importantly, rejecting fear. And in this war, your choice of weapon is absolutely critical. The right weapon? It's simple. It's powerful. A Nasdaq-100 Index Fund. The wrong weapons? That's all the complicated stuff that's designed to siphon off your money. We're talking complex insurance products, futures, complicated trusts. The source is super direct about this. It basically says you should think of anything you don't understand, especially complex insurance, as a scam designed to confuse you. And that same thinking applies to your tactics. The losing tactic is trying to be a genius, trying to predict the market, doing all this complex analysis. The winning tactic? It's boring. It's simple, disciplined, patient, long-term buying and holding. Victory doesn't come from outsmarting the market. Nobody can do that consistently. It comes from just owning it for the long run. And this idea right here, this is the bedrock of the entire strategy. This is what gives you the confidence to just hold on through all the crazy ups and downs. The only unchanging truth of the market is that it will continue to fluctuate and continue to hit new highs. If you truly believe that, then all the day-to-day panic and noise, it just becomes irrelevant, doesn't it?
So let's talk about the end game. What's the ultimate prize here? Because winning this war isn't just about piling up a bunch of money. The real goal is something way, way more profound. It's about true freedom. And what is true financial freedom? It's not about being able to buy a yacht. It's about reaching a state where money is no longer the first thing you think about when you want to do something. Imagine that. The first question in your head isn't how much does it cost? The mental weight of can I afford this is just gone.
And you know what's so cool about this idea? You don't have to wait until you're a billionaire to start feeling this. The journey is progressive. It starts small. The first level is what the source calls freedom at the supermarket. You just buy the food you want, not just what's on sale. Then maybe it becomes freedom with travel. You book the trip you really want without price checking a dozen sites. And it builds from there, until eventually, your life choices are just completely free from money.
So yeah, it's a journey through these three distinct levels of liberation. Each step, whether it's at the grocery store or the airport, is about peeling back another layer of that financial anxiety. You're not just freeing up your wallet, you're freeing up your mind. And that's what gets you closer and closer to real freedom.
And that really brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question this whole philosophy leaves you with. Now you know the plan. So what will you do with your freedom? The whole point of winning this war is to have that choice. The real question is, what would a life with no financial constraints actually look like for you?